Hello everybody. As you can see, our technician, George, has completed the back end upper installation. He's done the opposite side of what he did on this. So basically, if his cords went in on this side, they came in on this side. If this cord goes on the outside here, then this cord goes on the outside here. So make sure you take note of that. He's also done the fin. He showed you how he tucks it up in a hole here so you can get a little more snug. The next thing he's going to show you is how to light the spring. Spring isn't very difficult. You might have to take these screws out here so you have a little room, or you might not have to. It all depends on your preference. Make sure when you're doing the spring, you follow exactly what he shows you. Use the same start point that he does. You bring the lines up through here. After the spring, we're going to show you where to put the 8-to-1 splitter so we can plug all this up and get the lights on for you. At this time, we're going to turn it over to George. So go ahead, show him what you're going to do with it.
What I'm going to do is, these screws here are your 25. We're going to unscrew all 4 of these screws here. We'll bend this here back. You're going to take and make sure you clean your spring with your alcohol. Then what you have to do is, everybody has a different preparation. I like to try to start mine at the very bottom of the spring and work it up. And then get the next one and work it in. And what I'll do is I'll get it started and I'll come back and show you and talk you through it.
Hello, you're almost done with your install. As you can see, we have our spring done. It looks outstanding, especially using our new black strips. Our technician George here did an outstanding job on this install. George, why don't you explain to everyone exactly what you did so they can follow your tutelage and do the exact same thing you did.
What I did was I removed the 4 bolts from here, as I stated in the beginning of the video. And what that does, that allows you access to the backside of the spring. I started off using the 2-3 that comes in the package, and I started wrapping around. Once you get to a certain part, it stops. And what we'll do is we'll get the cameraman to come around and see. Then I run the line up inside the spring, and I bring it up to the top to where I bring it out here, and I let it rest up here. Then I go in and get the 2-4. I start the 2-4 opposite, and I started right where the 2-3 ended, and I start running around the spring. As I get to the end of that, I also take its line and run it up. And what I do is I secure both lines to the spring to where they're not on the housing, but they're actually on the side of the spring. I secure them with a small zip tie. As I secure them there, then I secure them here again. I run the line up over the center bar here and run it along here. I tab it in here and here with these lines that comes from your roll bar, your upper roll bar and your middle roll bar. I run them around here, and at that point, I bring them to here where I bring in these 2 lines, and what we have is we have a neatly thing waiting for our 8-to-1 splitter to be added in, which will be added in, and I'll show you that in just a minute.
Okay, so with his instruction, go ahead and do your spring. Notice, this is very key. He has all his lines running to the same area. Everything is right here to make for a neat run. And when you put your 8-to-1 splitter on, it's gonna plug right in, stay nice and neat. It looks like an expert job, but it almost looked like he did. So take the time, do your spring, and get your 8-to-1 splitter prepped. Rub a little alcohol in here. We're gonna get you ready, and we'll be right back.
All right, we're gonna show you, I'm gonna show you how we set up the 8-to-1 splitter. What we have is we have a double wide side tape. What I do is I take this tape and I place a piece on the 8-to-1 splitter right in the center. What I do is make my cut there. This here is the Bluetooth receiver. On it you have a sticker. I go to the opposite side and I take and put a single piece of tape on it as well, where I take it and catch it at the top, come down the length of it, then I cut it. On your 8-to-1 splitter, you have a cord, your hot and your ground, and then you have 8 feeds right here that we're gonna plug in our lights to. So what we're gonna do is, on your Bluetooth controller, we have one. Take them, plug it in, make sure it's plugged in good. Take the box, spin it around to where it's exactly like this. then you take your tape and you're gonna stick it to that. Make sure it's a good stick. What I normally do is I have a couple of zip ties where I take one and I'll put it in and zip tie it here. I make sure that my cord is running even with that. Pull it up, zip tie that there, then take and cut this piece here off. Once that's done, now your 8-to-1 splitter is ready to go. You got it all good to go. Let me get back and I'll show you how to run your cable where you don't get jammed up and you're not down there fiddling around and everything. So if you hold one moment, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this cover here and I'm gonna come back and show you how to run this here where it's run quickly, take you about a second, and then we can move on to putting the 8-to-1 splitter on. We'll use this tool to remove the 4 plugs that have this here held in place. Once that's removed, as you can see, it's clear. On the 2019s on down, your batteries actually sits right here. On the 2020s, the battery's up front, but that's for another day. What I do is I take your wire, roll it up, this bar right here, I take the wire and run it right beside that and try to slide it right on down. So, oh, there it is. It pops right on out. Put it on up like this here until I get my 8-to-1 splitter where I want it. Once I get it about right here, I take my 8-to-1 splitter, slide it up and over this bar to where now it comes out on this side of your bar. We're gonna alcohol right up here because that's where we're gonna stick the 8-to-1 splitter. Then we'll plug it in right there. What I'll do is I will do that and let you all get y'all together and we'll come back and we'll finish it up and we'll tie this here up and have everything plugged in, and all we need to do is run the ground and the power, and you'll be ready to light your back end up and you can travel down the street in rare form. I'll get right back with you. Thank you.
All right, you seen my man George. He's completed the install up here. He's got everything put back together. The only thing that's left is your wiring. We take the time to loom our wires so that it look neat while you're running it, even though it's under the bike. And like tonight, we like everything to stay neat. All you have to do is take these 2 wires in the loom and run them along the side of your frame here. Once you run them along the side of your frame right here, they'll tuck right inside this gap right here, or you can zip tie them along the way, however you prefer. As usual, when you get up to the front to the bucket area, you simply put your ground in your ground distribution block, and you put your hot in your hot distribution block, and everything will light up and sync up automatically. Ready? You can see the finished product. Outstanding job by our technician, George Johnson. As you can see the spring, if you line the spring up right, you can see where the colors go almost at every other band. If you use the same start and ending points as he did, your spring will do exactly this. Make sure you follow our instructions. We got a lot more videos coming out. Stay to the airways, stay to ltnleds.com, and we'll see you soon. And always remember, you can't light the night without light the night. Have a good day.